So you guys were one. I'm hearing a lot of you guys. You guys wanted a theme song shortened, so here we go. This girl reviews movies, games, and books. Sometimes she plays them. So does that. And when she does it with the cat, does that make her crazy? Does that make her crazy? Probably. So it's shorter. There you go. Crazycatlady or Martha Butler does not own any trailers or pictures. I use them under fair use, educational, for education and entertainment. Okay, guys. Yesterday, I went and saw Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and it was awesome. It was funny and very articulate. A lot of different art styles. I loved it. Has a little bit. So, spoilers ahead. I won't be able to cover every single thing because, man, it's just like watch, the Lego movie or the Mario movie. You had to watch them multiple times to catch every single thing in it. Because, man, you thought last time they put a lot of different art styles in it. This time around, they, pretty much put... It's like they walk into an art museum, and every place you look, there's a new, different art style. And that's what it felt like. So, yeah. Everywhere you look, different art style. So, yeah. That's what I loved about it. Now, is this one... So far, I'm gonna explain this one better than the last one. I would say... It can be... You could have a different perspective, but to me, I think... The plot was better last time, but the laughs were better this time around. Okay? Because the plot was pretty straightforward last time. This one, it's kind of straightforward. But mostly we stayed in one scene for too long this time around. But it kind of had to, because it was kind of like a court scene. And, yeah, so yeah, let's just get started. First we get started with, Glenn telling her story, because last time we only got the fish notes of her story, that Peter died, and that's all we got from her. This time around we know how Peter died, that Peter turned himself into the lizard, and to attack Flash, I think, and then she has to stop him, and he ends up dying, and her dad ends up blaming her, ends up blaming Spider-Woman, and so she's basically on the run for this, and she's drumming during this part, and she lost her friend, and she's afraid to have friends, and her last friend that she can't see her because he's in a different universe, and his name's Miles. So yeah, then we get to see Miles. Lady! So, sorry about that, I had to feed the dogs. So, I loved this, when the story was handled. It was part of the story. It's like, you got to know Gwen really well, and the fact, how sad she is during these scenes, so yeah. And the fact that she can't really talk to her father or anything. And when she shows her dad who she is, because he's the place of sheep. He's in shock, but he still wants to try to arrest her, and because she just stopped a vulture from a medieval period universe. So because when Kingpin interrupted did the whole entire thing with the universe time thing in the last movie, he made it possible for all the other universes to do it. So, Spot, I guess, grabbed him, as we see Spot later on, and brought him over here. Brought the Vulture over for her universe, so yeah. That's my guess, because, and then, we have... I won't be able to remember every single one of these spider people's names, so I'm just going to call them by, their
what their profile is in comic books or what I can identify them as. So sorry if I offended anybody, but it's kind of impossible to remember every single character's name in this. So yeah, we have the pregnant Spider Woman here, and she ends up taking Gwen with her. And we also got Spider-Man Unlimited here, or Spider-Man 2099, the one that Spider-Man Unlimited is based off of, which I just did a history of that cartoon. But he comes here and stops Vulture with her, and they allowed her to come in. Then we allow Gwen to come in. So then we go to Miles' story, and Miles is now, it's basically like a year later since the last movie. Now Miles is a sophomore, and he wants to go to New Jersey and go for his first years of college and work about dark matter by going to other universes, so he can go see Gwen and Peter, because neither of them have seen him since the last movie. So I guess they weren't allowed to, or they weren't able to. And so he's been like doing great, stopping a lot of villains, but he's supposed to go and see it's like for a parent teacher conference or discuss his future about his college and stuff like that, with like the principal or maybe one of the people who do the colleges, stuff like that, or the secretary. It's really specific who this teacher is, who this woman is. So yeah, the fact is that she does not understand that Portuguese is part of America. So yeah, the fact that she says that his mom is an immigrant where she is from America. She is part of an island that are not part of the mainland. So yeah, what this idea does, because she speaks Spanish does not mean she's not. Just because she knows Spanish does not mean she is not from America. But Miles is doing fine in every class except for Spanish because he's missed a few classes. But the teacher lady, principal lady, or whatever, counselor lady, notice that he's lying to you, and they both of them leave because they have to go and take care of Spot, who's guess one of the scientists that worked at the Kingpin's scientist places with Dr. Octopus, and he basically threw a bagel at him and made him turn into the Spot by having it pour on top of him. And we're learning about this, poor Jefferson, Miles' dad, is being dragged around the whole entire world, dragged during the whole entire city, and having to explain to his wife, I'm kind of busy right now, because she calls him in the middle of this and asks him what the hell's going on. So yeah, so this part was fun. This part was funny because you feel so sorry for Jefferson here, and he gets to be, during this movie, he gets to be chief, promoted to chief of police, and it's not ever official during this movie. It's being finalized. I don't know how that works because I'm not a cop, and I don't have any cops in my family. I guess it takes a while for it to be get instated. You just don't say you're chief now. It's not like if you watch Batman, it's not like where they made Gordon commissioner right on the spot and everybody clapped, even Joker. So yeah, it's not like that. It takes a couple of days apparently. And we after this, Miles get grounded for 2 months because he was late to Jefferson's graduation party, where he comes when he gets happy to become chief, and everybody's pleading for him, and then he's supposed to bring the cake, and he was a bit late because it's New York and he couldn't get anywhere really, and so he gets grounded for 2 months, and it gets like further along in the movie. Like it ends up being like five. It's been like five at the like in the middle of the movie, because he talks to Gwen, and his mom allows him to be like postpone his grounding, so I'm gonna hang out with Gwen and get to know her and stuff like that. Because him and his mom had like a long talk where she wants him to be like go out into the world, but do not forget where he came from, basically, and be yourself. Don't forget to be yourself, like every single young man has to do when they leave the house. But he's not that. He still has 3 years to do that. But still, yeah. And so he goes and leaves and follows Gwen after Gwen basically takes him out of his room when he was grounded still. So, and they hang out together and they catch up, and she explains to him that her dad basically was going to arrest her when he found out who she was, and she helps him deal with it. And so then they go back to the room, and then she meets the parents, and then we find out that Spot is trying to get more powerful because Miles called him like the villain of the week, and that's like the worst insult for a villain when you're just captured one time and put in jail and never talked about again in any of the TV shows, in any of the future TV or any future comics, because Spot wasn't used very much in comics and not really used very much in TV. I only like 2 episodes in the 1994 where we got to see him. So yeah, so they like got like a D-list villain and made him a big deal in this movie. So yeah, and so we see like a bunch of spots everywhere, and he made himself like, stronger so he can act, and he realized I can like take things from other universes. Like we see him go to the Lego universe, we see him go to real life Spider-Man universe, and the different styles. So let's see what I mean. We even got like a little Who Framed Roger Rabbit moment here, because every single time we see live action and animation together, I always call it Who Framed Roger Rabbit, because that's what basically Who Framed Roger Rabbit was. So, and that's the first tech, I know that's been done before with Song of the South, but since everybody tries their best to disregard that movie, I just say Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So yeah, and it's not like that's not as deep as that one, because they only do it like Who Framed Roger Rabbit like 4 times moments in this movie, because we have that moment where Spot talks to a girl at a Circle K gas station and just takes candy from her. And then we see Donald Glover, the guy who played Aaron Davis in Spider-Man Homecoming, and he's actually wearing the Prowler outfit this time around, and he's in the animation world. And we also got Andrew showed up here right when he lost Uncle Ben, and so was Toby. But I think it was just mostly them capturing the moment that they lost that person again, because they mentioned like Uncle Ben right here a bunch of times. Like they showed like a whole bunch of old Uncle Ben's dying. Then they showed like a whole bunch of the old Stacy's chief or a chief dying. And so, but those are the 3 times or 4 times they showed a person in live action that was with animation. So I just want to cover that part, because I know I'm talking this a little bit out of order, but you kind of have to when you're talking about this movie. So then Miles gets taken. Miles follows Gwen to when he leaves. She investigates what they did, what Spot did, and he follows her, but he's like invisible when he's watching her do this, so she doesn't know that he's there, and so he goes in there and follows her, and she's not supposed to be there, so now he's glitching out, because he's like they were last time, because he's in a different universe, and so he gets like a 1-day pass from the pregnant Spider-Woman, and this is when we see all the different Spider-Man. We see, like, I cannot name them all here. Oh yeah, we also got to see. We also went to the Indian Spider universe, and where a guy who's only been Spider-Man for only 6 months, and they help him because the Spot went to that universe first, and he tries to kill the chief there, who that's the Indian Spider-Man is dating. And we also got, like, English guitar player, British Spider-Man here. So yeah, who's I guess where Gwen was staying overnight one time, and it made Miles mad that he found out about that. And Hobie, that one's the British one. So yeah. And they helped him, like, take down the Spot, but Miles apparently does something he's not supposed to, and goes and saves the chief from being killed. And after the chief saves the kid from being killed, and the Indian Spider-Man tries to save the little kid and the chief, but apparently you're supposed to let the chief die, because if the chief dies, everything's cool. But if the chief doesn't die in the universe, everybody else dies. Because then there's no Spider-Man, and then the Spider-Man becomes a criminal. Basically, if there's no Spider-Man. When supposed to come Spider-Man in that world comes a criminal. Because we learned that during the court scene. When Miles goes into the world, we see a bunch of different Spider people. Because we get to see, I guess, this is when we get to see Donald Glover gets like being one of those spider things, and he's like Glover. He's in his Prowler costume. So we don't know when that happened, because they never mentioned that in the in any of the movies, like in the second Spider-Man movie after Spider-Man Homecoming, and Spider-Man No Way Home. Those two like, they never mentioned anything about him. He was never mentioned before, so I guess kind of happened off screen, which I find cool that he's in the movie dressed as Prowler, but the whole entire thing, the fact we never got to see him turn into Prowler in the other movies, kind of find it not cool. But yeah, this one to make us like, oh my gosh moment, and I did, because I did not watch the last trailer. So I don't know if any of this stuff was in the last trailer. I only watched the first 2 trailers, and I didn't watch the last one because I wanted to have some surprises, and I was surprised during this, and I'm happy about it. So that's why I didn't react to the last trailer of Across the Spider-Verse, because I wanted surprises, and I got my surprises. So yay! I couldn't stop laughing during this moment. I couldn't. I'm surprised nobody kicked me out of the theater. We got, like, every time we saw a different Spider-Man, I laughed, because the fact that they even point out Spider-Cat from, if you played Spider-Man PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5 Miles version, there's a mission where you save a cat that follows a game, and if you save the cat at the very end of the game, you're allowed to keep the cat, and the cat is on your backpack and stuff like that, and that cat is called Spider-Man. So I was called Spider-Cat. So I like the fact that, because the Spider-Cat attacks Miles here, and like, yay, they brought Spider-Cat. And they also have Spider-Horse. It's like they have every single Spider-Man except for Tom. Except for Tom Holland. Like, was Tom Holland too busy doing something else? Don't not answer that, because if he's in, like, in a different movie, in a cameo, I want to find out on my own. So yeah. If you do, I'm not gonna get mad. But okay, this rather we wouldn't. But besides, like I said, these are parts that have Andrew and Toby, are just scenes they captured from other movies or TV shows, because we also got Spectacular Spider-Man that my little brother and my nephew watched when they were little. So I might do a review of that episode, but the fact that that show's not 20 years old, that won't really count. So I don't know how I'm gonna do that one. But I'm probably just gonna do a review of one. You guys want to pick? Go ahead, because I might do it next week. I didn't expect them for this particular Spider-Man to be in here though. And they also have one from like the oldest cartoon of Spider-Man. I think came out like 1964. I haven't looked up that, so I don't know particulars of that because that's like the oldest cartoon. And we had like 3 different times I heard J.K. Simmons talk during this. So yeah, it was funny. So, and he was always playing Jonah. So then basically, why is Miles on trial during this movie? Because apparently the Spot grabbed a spider from a different universe and had that spider bit Miles. So Miles should not be Spider-Man because he took a spider from another universe and took a different Miles Spot. And so what happened to that Miles? That Miles got turned into the Prowler instead of Aaron. And Jefferson died still somehow in that universe. So, because when Miles goes home, after he finds out that he's not supposed to be Spider-Man, somebody else is, he was never going to capture him, because his dad's supposed to die in 2 days. Because if his dad doesn't die in 2 days, his universe disappears. So, yeah. And, all the Spider-Men follow him, and Spider-Woman, and all the animals follow him. Mostly, Spider-Man 2099 follows him because he's the ringleader. So I was right. He is a bad guy because he had to he tried to take place of another character of his own, and because that one became a bad guy by killing people. So then they start chasing him, and Miles tricks them by like shocking the night Spider-Man Unlimited, and then going back and like pushing buttons to go back to the universe that he knows. But instead, he ends up going to going to the universe that the Miles that was supposed to become Spider-Man instead, because that's what he thought his universe was called. Because we see him talking to his mom, and his mom has no idea what he's talking about because there's no Spider-Man in this universe that he went to. And Gwen goes to the world that he's originally from. So yeah, so he's in the wrong universe, and then Aaron takes him to the Miles from that universe, and we find out that's the Prowler instead of Aaron. So yeah, and that's when the movie, basically when the movie ends, when we'll find this out, and the next movie will be called Beyond the Spider-Verse. So actually it ends when Gwen forms a new team to go and help Miles, because she gets in trouble for not capturing Miles sooner. And I know I haven't even mentioned Peter, because Peter is not really in this movie very much. Peter has a daughter with MJ, and he is bringing his daughter to on missions, and MJ apparently hates that, but she doesn't get too mad at him. But yeah, and basically in this movie, Peter is basically his lawyer in this, his unofficial lawyer, because he's like trying to stand up for Miles. And we don't really see Nicolas Cage Spider-Man here, or Spider-Pig, or Penny. We see Penny for like 2 minutes, probably. That's basically it. And we get to see Nicolas Cage Spider-Man like for like 2 seconds, and same with Spider-Pig. But that's mostly like scenes that you saw from the last movie repeating their lines. So it's just not really them having new lines. Okay? So it's not like they recorded any new lines. So it's basically it. It was great. A lot of hot stars. I loved it. I'm probably gonna give this one like a 9 out of 10 because the story's not finished yet. It's like if you graded, if you watched the first part of Titanic and you just graded the part up until Titanic hit went in the water, and you just decided, I'm not gonna rate the rest of this movie because it's a two-parter. Remember? Because when I was a kid, Titanic was two VHSs. It wasn't one DVD. That's why I'm using that analogy. Or you scored the first part of Harry Potter, the Two Deadly Hallows, and not scored the second part. So it's kind of like hard to score this without scoring the other one. But the only thing is nobody's seen the other one because it's supposed to come out sometime next year. So it's partly finished because animation takes forever to do. You just don't draw it and make the page spin willy-nilly. It takes time. So yeah. So that's basically it, guys. Like, share, and subscribe. Let me know which stuff of Spider-Man you want me to cover during this month, because it's gonna be Spider Month and maybe Little Mermaid Month too. But man, have fun. So I love this movie. Yay! Bye bye.